Okay, we are going to try this again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get technology to work for me in my favor. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to bring on Raven. Here we go, here we go. Add. Yes. All right, there we go.
All right, no
Magic.
echoes? No echoes?
No echoes.
Isn't it incredible that I can be having a conversation with you and you're in Canada and I'm on this little tiny island in the middle of the ocean?
Right? Like, I would have never known you if it wasn't for the internet.
Right?
And I think it'll be really cool when I get to like see you in Hawaii one day. But for now, technology is a blessing and a curse. All right. Thanks, Brittany, for doing sound check for us. Okay, so I'm just going to give a little introduction to Raven. Raven is my upline. She is my mentor. She is rocking it with her business in holistic nutrition. She has her very own story of transformation with her body. It's incredible. Raven, I am so excited for you to share that with my sphere of people. And then I'd also love for you to share how you've created this to be a business for you. So why don't
Awesome.
we dive on in? Raven, why don't you start sharing?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's so nice to be here with you. And it's really just a pleasure to get to know you as you've been going through your own personal transformation. And I remember you were sharing your story with me about how you had struggled for so long, your whole entire life, and you just never
Mm,
knew that feeling good was actually an option. And that's really why I do what I do, is because, had I not picked up the phone and reached out for a solution, then you may not be here right now. You might still, be silently suffering. And I think that's what I really want to share with your following today, is about how many people I talk to every single day that appear to have it all together out here, but we can't really see what's going on in here. It's like we're not wearing a sign saying that, I'm suffering from digestive issues, or I have, inflammation so bad that my chronic migraines are burning, or I'm so exhausted I can't even get out of bed after I just slept for 12 hours. And these are the conversations that I'm having every single day with people all over the United States, Canada included. But in the US in particular, there's so much inundation that is happening in our food supply. And for myself, like, I have a background in organic farming. I'm also an herbalist. I've been, planting my own food, growing seeds, creating that regeneration for over 20 years. And even I got sick. So when I look
mm,
at what's happening in our environment, environmental pollution, if you eat out at a restaurant, you're being inundated with some form of chemical toxicity, even if you try to avoid it. And sure, there's the rare, certified organic, non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free restaurant, but it's not the norm for most people to be able to even attempt to eat like that. So what happened
mhm,
for me was really kind of interesting, because, I had struggled with, actually it was depression, to be honest. Depression was really what was the catalyst that got me into this spiral where all of a sudden, there was this day where I turned around and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was 65 pounds overweight. And I was just kind of like,
what
how did that
happened?
happen? How did that happen? Right. And I think for a lot of people, we're just trying to get through the day. We're just trying to make it one more hour, make it through the work week, make it through however we can. And we find these little things that we start inundating ourselves, like, putting orally, whether we're eating it or drinking it or smoking it. There's these ways that we're trying to cope with just how bad the day is. And all of a sudden 10 years disappears. And it's really kind of intense looking back. I was just thinking about this the other day, about how sad I was, how bad it
Mm,
was, how deep the pain really was. And yet on the outside, it looked like I had this, awesome marriage and these beautiful kids, and I had all this land, and I lived in Hawaii. But inside I was dying and I was suffering. And so, my weight loss journey didn't happen in a good way. Actually, what happened for me was that I ended up getting a root canal that pushed a bacterial infection up into my brain, and it almost killed me.
oh my
And
goodness.
so I ended up actually dropping weight in a really scary, fast way, to the point where, you know, everything that I identified with as myself was disappearing. Literally,
Wow.
you know, my skin started turning gray, my lips lost their color, my hair was falling out by the handfuls, and I had this like thick mane, you know, that was down past my butt. And so for my hair to start coming out by the
Wow.
handfuls was really, really scary. And it took me going into the hospital here and going into radiology to find out whether or not, you know, what I was struggling with was potentially cancer. And so I
Wow.
remember that moment walking out. I was walking out of the hospital, and I just heard my child. My child was, I think he was 4 at the time. And I was just hearing his voice, and he was like, "My mom died of cancer when I was 5." And there was just like every cell
Wow.
in my body was just like, this is not my story. This is not my story. This is not my story. And so I ended up picking up the phone and I called my girlfriend, Skylar. And I knew that she had access to these superfoods that I had never really tried. I had kind of kept to the side. You know, I didn't really understand what the model was, so I didn't really look too deep into it. But it was like the end of the road. So I picked up my phone and I called her and I said, "Hey, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're still doing that thing, but I feel like I need to do like a deep cellular detoxification," because honestly, I could feel my cells hardening. I could feel like dark matter starting to calcify in my body. And when it gets to that
Mm.
point, it's pretty much, you know, like you're going on your way out pretty quickly. So I ended up going to her house. She ends up showing me this incredible blend of superfoods that are live dehydrated with adaptogenic mushrooms. And it all of a sudden got my attention. Like all the education of all of my years in, you know, organic farming and nutrition and herbalism, it was all consolidated into this one super simple solution. And that kind of got my attention. So I actually started doing a little research, started finding out about this guy, Dave Sandoval, who was the chief science formulator for the company. And I was like, he's doing exactly what I would do if I had the power to feed people at this global scale. Now, mind you, I was running a community supported agriculture program. So I was farming on 12 acres of land. I was in the dirt every single day. And I was only able to feed about 23 families a week. And that's where we capped
Wow.
out. So I was wanting to feed my community. I was wanting to create medicine for my community. I was wanting to become self-sufficient, not only in my own household, but in my community. And it just was almost impossible. It literally was almost impossible because there was so much inundation from environmental toxins and so much inundation into the food supply of when we would actually go out and eat out that it just kept degrading my health down and down and down and down. So where I am now is like, I was just thinking about it today as I was, you know, I was putting on some makeup and doing my hair and looking in the mirror. And I was like, wow, you know, it's amazing that I'm alive.
Isn't it?
It's really, truly a gift. And I really try to have my life be lived in a place of gratitude and of service now. Because when you're given your life back, how could you not want to help others do the same? Right? It's like, it would be selfish of me to not want to share my story. It would be selfish of me to not share this incredible nutrition that's available for all of us for a fraction of the cost we're already spending on food. And that's really why I love being able to do lives like this, especially with you, Sarah, as you're starting to regain your health and you're starting to share with your community to really show people what's possible. And that's my synopsis. Did I do that pretty quickly?
Yeah. Wow, that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. And Raven, I really appreciate what you say. I mean, you were in farming. Like you were already like doing a lot of healthy things, and it still just wasn't enough. And I think, and you know, hats off to everyone who is doing what they can to be healthy and who are continuing to learn so that they, you know, are continuing to nourish their bodies. But as I was doing that myself, I was finding like it was just this hamster wheel. You know, like there's still something missing. And then every time you just fall off, even for like a day, it like puts you so much further back, and then you have to work so hard to get forward again because our food supply is just so depleted.
Yeah.
So it sometimes it felt like, the end of the story. And like you were on your deathbed. And it's a miracle that you're alive. Like this, it's incredible. And how do we not share that with people? So that is really, really amazing. Thank you for sharing. So how long have you been doing these superfoods now?
So let's see, it was about almost 3.5 years ago now, when I made that decision to call Skylar, and I went to her house and she showed me what we had, and I just made the investment. I was like, this is a it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And I was like, $500, like, yeah, I can invest $500 to save my life. So that was my initial investment. And, this box of magic arrived on my front door, and I dove right in. And I think it was by day 8 where I really felt what was happening, where I really all of a sudden understood what was happening. It was like, it was such a profound shift. It was like going from agony to being pain free, going from exhaustion to not needing an alarm clock and waking up with the sun.
Yeah.
That was the moment, like I woke up and I had no pain in my body. I was the first time in my life I've ever woken up without an alarm clock. And all of a sudden I had hope. It was like that feeling of like, wow, I'm not going to die. Well, I might actually live. And then what happens if we do it again the next day? And then what if we do it the next day? And so it always reminds me of this saying that I kind of hear in my head, and why people get frustrated with transformation is because they want it to happen overnight. We live in this society of instant gratification. And yet, where I was, that was like 20 years of build
Getting
up.
you there.
It didn't happen overnight. So right. So how can we even expect that we can go the opposite direction overnight? It's just not a realistic thing to even expect. But what I found with these superfoods was that it actually accelerated the transformation so fast that we're seeing pretty much kind of miraculous results with people getting their life back in a very short amount of time. I mean, compared to the amount of time you've been suffering. So like even for you, I mean, you were sharing with me how you had been suffering your whole life, right? And now how long has it been that you've been out of that pain?
Oh my goodness, like only a couple of months. I think I started the end of June, so July, August, September, October. 4 months. And it's like I don't even know what it feels like to have an upset stomach anymore.
Right?
And it's like a nice normal. But at the
Mm,
same time, I don't want to forget. Because I
mm,
think now once we start feeling good and we start feeling great, yes, we want to share it with other people, but it's always coming back to, the story of how you got there. And that's the humbling thing, I think.
yeah, for sure. For sure. It's easy to forget how bad it is when you're in the good place, right? And so
Yeah.
for me, I want to stay in that good place. Like I want to
Hmm.
stay there. And so I've found a way to integrate a very simple system, protein, fruits, and vegetables with a glyphosate detoxification for less than $6 a day, to where my health is continuing to increase. And that's incredible, because you think, oh, you get to a certain place and then you just go back to normal, but it's not like that with this particular program. So looking at what we have with Core 4 is like helping people to very slowly make these little daily transformations, right? It's like, did you take your aminos? Did you take your power shake? Did you take your biomedic? Did you take your apothecary? And if you do that, even if you're still smoking cigarettes and you're still eating McDonald's and you're still drinking Diet Coke, you're going to start tipping the scale. And
Yeah.
as you start flooding the body with these superfoods, what happens is the body stops craving the things that were harming it. So I was able to quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey. I was able to get off of drinking coffee. I was able to, I mean, I don't even eat sugar. I don't even look at sugar. Sugar is not even an issue for me anymore, versus before this program came into my life. If I had a piece of cake or like a piece of pie that had like, you know, GMO, non-organic sugar in it, I would almost go into a food coma. It would like spike my blood sugar. I would kind of black out, and then I was passed out on the couch. And I didn't even know what was really happening to me. But now looking back on it, realizing that those little changes that we make each day are actually, it's like making a deposit into the bank account of your future. Right?
I like that. Yeah. It's the little changes for sure. And I feel like so many people fail when they try to change their lifestyle, or they try in a dieting more aspect, right? So they just immediately try to cut everything out that they're doing bad and replace it with all these other things. And I mean, the sentiment or the idea behind it is good, but if you're rushing into it way too fast, you're just setting yourself up to fail.
Absolutely.
So that is what I love about the superfoods, is it's slow, but yet it's quick in the way that you feel the differences in your body, for sure. Cool. So then at what point were you starting to realize, like, hey, this is making me feel really great. Hey, I have, like, it's selfish for me not to share this with other people. And then, hey, I could get paid. Like, when was that point?
Well, actually, that never really crossed my mind, to be honest. I was running 5 companies at the time. So I have done a lot of production, a lot of executive producing. I own my own companies. I'm a very, very busy mompreneur. And I didn't even want to look at a business opportunity. I was like, no way. Because the one thing I wanted more than anything was more time. Right? Like when you're looking at the end of your life, well, you'll pay anything for more time. So taking on another business that's not a way to get more time. Like that's the opposite.
You're giving it away.
You know? So I wasn't really interested in that aspect at all, to be honest. I just wanted to get healthy. I wanted to be around for my kids. I wanted to, explore what was coming next in my life. And what happened was that I had such a profound transformation. I had such an incredible, like, I literally got my hot 20-year-old modeling body back in like a week. It was kind of ridiculous. So Skylar was watching obviously the whole time, and she was like, you know what, you got to share your story on Facebook. I would really love if you would go public and tag me. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to do that. That I don't want to be judged. I don't want people to, think something weird of me, blah, blah, blah. I had all these stories, right? Because we all think that we have to keep our social media persona a certain way so people don't, stop following us, and which is just ridiculous. But at the same time, I was like, all right, I'll do it for you. So I posted my photos. I shared my story. I hit post, and I kind of walked away from my phone for a little while. And when I picked up my phone was exploding. I had like over 300 private messages from people who were like, Raven, I just read your story. And it was like reading my journal.
Wow.
And I was like, you? Like, what? I mean, this is what I mean about we don't know how much people are suffering. Like, we don't publicly portray our suffering on social media. So it kind of shocked me, but I had these gift card codes. I had referral codes. So I just started sharing referral codes. And then the next thing I knew, I made $3,000. So I built a business by mistake. It wasn't on purpose at all. It was just, honestly, I just wanted people to know what I had. I just wanted to share that I had found something that was really, in my mind, completely revolutionary and evolutionary for humankind, really, because the level of nutrition that and the science that backs what we have has never been available to humankind at this level ever before. So I'm super geeky science nerd, and I love talking about DNA. I love talking about, predisposed conditions that are related to genetics. And since I've been using these superfoods, I can tell you that's all junk. I can tell you that what we put in is what we get out. And anyone can regenerate their body. without a doubt, I can 100% share with you that that is possible, and that if you're open to trying something new, that you may want to take a look at this. And that's kind of what I did. You know, I knew there was a 60-day money back guarantee, so there was really nothing to lose. There was only everything to gain. And like I said, that was 3.5 years ago. I haven't looked back since.
Wow. That's amazing. That is so inspiring. I mean, most people out there, I mean, when Brittany, I see you, Brittany, when Brittany approached me about this, like I was in a lot of pain. I was suffering, and I had shared this with Brittany before she even started with this superfood stuff. So she knew kind of what I was already going through. But I was like, a business, like, nah, like, I just need, like, I was just so desperate just to fix me that I couldn't even think about others yet. And it's not because I didn't have a heart for other people. It was just because I was in such bad shape myself. And then as soon as I started to repair it and start to feel great, and I was like, hey, you know what? Like, it's not even about the business. It's about, you know, giving people their life back
Mm.
and equipping them with that. Because before I was always like, trying to be health conscious. I was a yoga teacher. I was helping tell or teach people like what foods you should and should not avoid, but it was very like directional, like X, Y, Z, do this, do that. And it was like a very negative thing because I didn't know yet what the answer was. All I knew
Mm.
was what not to do. And then I
Right.
found the superfoods and I'm like, this is what to do. And
Right.
then as soon as I did that, then there was like freedom in that because I just started doing my own thing. And as I share this with other people, it's like, hey, you can do your own thing with this too. And you have the power. Like the power is in your hands. Here it is.
Mm.
So
I
that's what
love that.
has been so inspiring about this. And like, it's like personal growth, personal development. It transforms your body, it transforms your mind, and then there's a compensation plan wrapped around it. So it's just like the cherry on top of the cake. It's like, how could it
Right.
get better?
Well, I mean,
So,
it can always get better. And that's the part where so many people can't remember. They don't remember how to dream, right? They're so stuck in the loop that unless they're finally ready to get out of that, which is unfortunately, this is what I find. I find that most people make great transformation when they are faced with tragedy, diagnosis, or death. Then they want to get their life together. Or
mhm.
they are either educated or forced into change. And I really want to be a beacon for people and let them know, like, don't wait for any of that. Like, you don't have to wait for any of that to look better, to feel better, to save money, to save time. You don't have to wait. Like, you can actually take a hold of your life as soon as you're ready. And I feel like that's really what our job is. I feel like our job is to show people that you can be, have, do anything you want in this life when you're ready, because we're not in the business of convincing anyone of anything. I know that I have the purest form of food on the planet, hands down. If anybody wants to PM me about that and we can get deeper into it, I can tell you for a fact that we have the purest, cleanest, most potent, most bioavailable, living, organic, raw, non-GMO nutrition on the planet. And you can save money by investing in your health. And that business model, to me, is the win-win-win across the board. Because if you look at it from a standpoint of economics, we all spend money every single day. And most of us are spending exorbitant amounts of money on things that aren't getting us out of the loop, right? We're still in the loop, but we're still spending more money. So if you can spend less money and actually break free and really come home into your pure divine health, then you can actually step into your purpose, right? Because
Mhm.
most of us don't get to do our purpose because we're so busy chasing our next paycheck. So when you look at being able to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? Being like, I am making a decision to invest in my own health because I want to live a full, abundant, amazing, happy, vibrant, incredible life. Put the mask on yourself first. Then once
Mhm.
you get to that place, then you can start putting the mask on others. And it's just like being in an airplane, right? When the oxygen mask falls. So we have to make the decision that we are worth it, that we are worth the investment, that we are worth taking care of, because we only get this one body, you know, we get this one holy sacred temple, and there are so many people out there abusing it. But the problem is they don't know that they're abusing it. They're only using what is available to them. So we get to show people what's available to them. We get to become more of a beacon of light in a dark world. And what happens is that people start to notice, they start paying attention to the stories that we're sharing, and they start making the decision for themselves that they're ready to. And how awesome is it that through doing that, we get compensated? So, you know, in my first month when I made that money, I basically made the money back. I invested into a ton more products, obviously, because why would I want to run out of products? I don't want to go back to, you know, living a funky life again. And I ended up being able to pay for my son's school, pay for my phone bill, pay my rent. Like, that's kind of a big deal. You know, most people are having a really hard time just trying to take care of those things. So how cool is it that by investing in your health, you can in turn get everything that you're looking for? So I really like to focus on helping people dream again. You know, I feel like that's really, you know, you were talking about the second brain in your live yesterday. You were talking about how the microbiome, when the microbiome is dead, how we can't absorb nutrition. Well, that's basically what was happening for me, is that my microbiome had been killed. So even though I was eating organic, non-GMO, juicing like crazy, trying to get superfoods into my body couldn't absorb the nutrition. So I was spending all this money and it was just flushing right through me. So
Literally.
since literally, and so since I've rebuilt the microbiome, now it's amazing how very little amount of food that I need. I mean, I basically fast for the majority of the day. I have one meal a day, and you know, 85 to 90% of my daily diet intake is these superfoods. And that's changed my life forever. And I can't imagine ever being without it. So I'm so grateful that there are people with ethics and integrity that are creating this life-giving food for us, and they have such high standards. You know, the level of quarantine and testing, and I mean, it's amazing how pure our food is. And so that's really what blew my mind, you know, more than anything, was just like, I felt like I'd won the lottery. I felt like I had been given the golden ticket. And so why would I want to keep it for myself? I feel like it's now my duty to, you know, give that gift forward, you know, give the gift of health to anyone who's ready to take their own back and really, you know, thrive and live on purpose in this life instead of stressing and struggling.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Something that you said, and it just really hit me, like it just like gave me chills when you said it, was, I want to help unlock purpose.
Mm.
And isn't that so true? I mean, like, I believe that we are all created for a reason. We all have like our own purpose for living this life on earth. Otherwise, why else, like, why would we be here? You know what I mean? So, you know, coming to dreaming bigger, and then also coming back to the nutrition, you know, teaching people to dream bigger. But a lot of times it's not because people don't want to change their life physically and mentally and spiritually. It's because they're believing some sort of lie about themselves. Like, they're not worth it. They're not worth, you know, investing in. And if anyone who's watching this, either on the live or the replay, if you ever have those thoughts, I just want to tell you right now, that's a work of the enemy, because that is not speaking life into you. That's speaking literally death over your body. So if that's you, I just want to let you know you are not alone. You have purpose, you have meaning, and you are allowed to dream. Like, give yourself permission to dream again. And that's just like something that is so empowering, with something that comes with just nutritionally giving your body what it needs. It's not even just about the physical. It's just all these other things that it unlocks in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what I look at is that we have these like 5 pillars, right? We have our mental capacity, we have our emotional capacity, we have our spiritual capacity, we have our physical capacity, and we have financial capacity. So most people are running on 2 or 3 cylinders. Most people are not running on all 5 of those pillars. And if we can change your diet, we can change your life. And you can actually build all 5 of those pillars just by taking better care of yourself. And I just really hope that all of your viewers out there really understand, like, don't wait until you're in your 60s and 70s to start making these changes. It's going to be so much harder then. So much harder. But if you start making these changes in your 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, like, get it going now so that you are starting to reverse the aging, because our cells are, our cells are happy when we take care of them. And when we don't take care of them, they are mad and they do not want to go to work, and they just like drag their muddy boots through the house, and it's like, it's kind of like I now look at my body as like I have these different almost like guides that are in there, like your different organs, they each have a different purpose. And then your cells are basically like all the kids that come to the party. And so, you want them to be clean, you want them to be healthy, you want them to be happy, because when your cells start vibrating at a higher frequency, which is what these superfoods do, all the things that are of a lower frequency start to fall away. And that includes depression, anxiety, stress, physical pain, financial concerns. Like, those are all these lower frequency things that we can change. We have the power to change. And I love the idea of dreaming again and really focusing on your purpose. Because Sarah, I'm sure for you, if you were completely financially free, you would be doing some good things in this world. You wouldn't just be teaching yoga. You would be going out and you would become a philanthropist of good in this world. And this is where I see this as being the, win-win-win, the most brilliant business model I've ever seen on the planet, because it handles all of those things. It's people, it's planet, it's purpose, and prosperity. And we can't really have prosperity without purpose, and we can't really have purpose without prosperity, although there are some people that do, and they're not doing good things for our planet. So if we can bring those home, and if we can actually dream the new dream awake as a collective, as a community of people who are all coming together and creating an interconnected web around our planet, we can absolutely change the direction of the future. Because if we just sit back and we just take the status quo, there is not going to be an ocean for your children. And that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not okay with that. So I'm going to do everything that I can within my power to, become more environmentally stable, to support only companies that are doing good initiatives on this world. And that's really how I came to be in the position that I'm in now, in the company that we are working with, is because I see how big the ripple that we are creating is, and we need more people like you. We need more people like the people who are watching this video to come together with us so that we can make global change faster. So that's why it's really super important to, not wait. I just say, don't wait for a diagnosis. Don't wait for a tragedy. Don't wait to get fired from your job that you thought you were secure in, to start building something additional on the side. I mean, most millionaires on average have 7 streams of income. Most people I know have like 1 or 2. And so I'm really looking at expanding that and, showing people what's possible, which is pretty awesome. I get to work from home. I live on the island of Kauai. I drive a nice car. I get to travel. I get to take care of the people that I love. I get to have a ton of fun with the people that I get to work with. And that's a beautiful thing. So, why would anybody not want to participate in that?
Right? Yeah. And I mean, just drawing it in a little bit, when we say don't wait, guys, Christmas is right around the corner. And we know that Christmas, the holiday season, this is the season where there's most of the baked foods, the heavy dinner parties, the extra booze because everyone's coming together and all of these things. And most people coming out of Christmas feel like crap because they just gained a whole bunch of weight and ate a whole bunch of food that maybe they didn't necessarily want, but they ate because it was there, it was convenient. So could you talk about that and how to avoid becoming a statistic? Could you actually share the statistic with us? And then can you provide the solution?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's on average, most Americans, now I don't know Canadian statistics, so don't get offended, but I'm sure you guys are included. Um, I think most statistics in the US is that most average Americans, which mind you, the average American is already obese. Most average
Mm-hmm.
Americans gain up to 20 plus pounds in between Halloween and New Year's. And all of that, to be honest, you guys, is undigested toxins that get stored in your adipose fat. So if you feel like you're carrying around some extra weight, if you feel like you're carrying around some what you would call fat, you guys are toxins. So what we do is we help nourish and detoxify. Nourish and detoxify. And guess what comes with that? You start losing weight, your skin starts getting tighter, you start glowing, you start feeling happier, you start sleeping better, you start, going down on the notches on your belt, and everybody wants to look and feel good. I mean, I think it was like Time Magazine did like the top 3 New Year's resolutions, and it was pretty simple. It was, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to make more money. Well, we are launching a campaign called Health for the Holidays, and this Health for the Holidays campaign is going to help you get all 3 of those if that's what you're really looking for. And you can get a jump start now. I mean, we're not saying don't eat turkey and mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving if that's what you want. But what we're saying is that there's things that you can do starting as soon as you're ready to start integrating on the daily, to where even if you have wine and turkey and mashed potatoes, it doesn't affect you for as long as it would have in the past had you not been integrating, vegan amino acids and flooding your body with phytonutrients and getting that antioxidants into your body and really reducing the stress. So we can help you feel and look better through the holidays instead of waiting till January 1st. Because, I mean, as we know in the business of health and transformation, come January 1st, it's like the phones don't stop ringing because everybody's finally done partying. They're finally done. They're finally just so over feeling like crap. They're tired of being hungover. And they're like, okay, New Year's resolutions, here we go. And so what I've seen with transformation is that when you go cold turkey from debauchery, it's a whole lot harder than it is if you just start integrating a little bit each day now. Then when you're ready to really kick it come New Year's, it's going to be so much easier for you.
Mm-hmm. And you're already ahead of the game. I mean, what we've been talking about within our inner circle is starting 2019 now. Like, why are we waiting for January to roll around? We're not. So happy New Year, everybody.
I know, where's the fireworks?
I wish I had one of those little like things that rolled out.
That's so funny. I love it.
So yeah, I mean, if anyone here is catching the live or catching the replay, if you know what the holidays does to your body, to your mind, and not only that, I mean, holidays get-togethers can be stressful, guys. Like, can be really stressful. And if you just feel like your world is just kind of like spinning by you and you feel like your life is kind of out of your control, out of your hands, we're here to tell you right now, it doesn't have to be that way. No. And it just comes with you making that choice. So we have an event going on, but then we also have continuous groups to help people guide them through this new lifestyle. Like, you guys have supports. You have me, you have Raven, you have Brittany. There's just this whole team of like warriors behind you who have already done it and are there to like lift you up if you ever stumble.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, most people silently suffer because they don't have either the motivation or the support by people that they love and trust. And that's really the community that we are creating, is a community of people that love you, that are open-armed to help you get wherever you want to get to. And that's not how most people live their lives. Most people are living their lives in their own little box, in their own little car, in their own little job, and they're not a part of something that's bigger than them. And so when you get into that isolation factor, it's scary, and you can get depressed, and you can start building anxiety, and you can start having social anxiety, and that's what I love about what we do here, is that we actually create a space to support you in rising, to help you find your voice, to help you find your purpose, to help you start dreaming again, to help you, when you're feeling like the road is getting rough, which happens for everybody. It's not just rainbows and butterflies every day. But when the road gets rough, you actually have this community of people to lean upon, who are there to support you. And I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anywhere where someone is more interested in my success than I am in theirs. It's a really new dynamic. It's really creating something that I want to be a part of, for the long run, for really like the rest of my life. This is what I consider to be the work for now. And I'm just witnessing so many people getting their life back. And that is like, how do you put a price on that? Like, there's just so much joy that comes along with witnessing people stepping into their own greatness by taking their health back. Like, who knew it was as simple as changing what you put in your mouth that could change the entire destiny of your life? And I know for you, Sarah, like from your experience personally, like you're a different person today than you were 4 months ago.
Yep. Yeah, it's great. I also just wanted to kind of reiterate, like, yes, most people are gaining weight. And like you said, it's not weight, it's toxins. And it's not about, because I feel like our world has become so superficial and looking in the outside, like, oh, you look like you could drop a couple pounds and stuff like that. Like, no, like the transformation that I'm talking about starts from the inside. It comes from like this internal feeling and this internal knowing. And then once you're rejuvenating your cells, it reflects on the outside. So yeah, my stomach isn't bloated anymore. Yeah, my body is tighter and looks way nicer than it did 4 months ago. But that wasn't the goal, because I feel like if the goal is just to lose weight, it's kind of superficial, and I don't think you're going to stick to it if that's the only reason. Like, you have to get into the nitty-gritty of like, well, why I want my life back. I want to feel better. I want to dream more. I want to go do all the good things that I've been wanting to do in my life and for other people.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, weight loss is a side effect, really. I mean, it's a side effect of getting healthy. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an obese vegan. I don't think, but unfortunately, even vegans that I'm meeting still have microbiome issues, because unfortunately, the majority of food that's out there that has that labeled vegan symbol is saturated in glyphosate. It's genetically modified. It's saturated in glyphosate. Sure, it's soy. It's not meat, but what else is going on? And so I feel like for vegans in particular, like, you guys are trying to do something ethically, but you're not necessarily getting the benefits that you could if you just took a deeper look into the programs that Sarah and I are really working with our clients with. Because real, true vegan protein is very hard to come by unless you're going to be in the kitchen like 8 hours a week, just prepping everything that you need. And it's like, that kind of time and energy, I'm so grateful that I don't do that anymore, because I used to be in the kitchen like 3 to 5 hours a day, growing food, prepping food, getting food ready, cooking food, serving food, cleaning up after serving food, putting everything away. And it's like, you do that 3 times a day. That's a lot of time and energy. So to now have my entire day free, it only takes me like 2 minutes to get my nutrition. And then I have a meal with my family at the end of the day. And that is what I want to do for my purpose, to connect and drop in, because I feel like food should be a celebration. It shouldn't be something that, we're just filling the empty hole, which when you have that dead microbiome, that's all you're doing. You're just filling an empty hole. And so the body can't digest it. So it starts creating all these autoimmune issues. For some people, it's weight gain. For some people, it's weight loss. It really just depends on each individual person's constitution. So what we do know is that the program that we've developed works for everyone. Works for everyone across the board. No matter where you're at, you are going to see benefits. And if weight loss is a goal of yours, it will be a side effect of just taking your nutrition to the next level, really.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Raven. If anyone has any questions, now would be the time. If not, you can still pop your questions down below and we can answer them later after the live is done. But I just want to thank you so much for your time. Thanks for tuning in from Hawaii. I wish I were there in that warm weather right now.
Right? It's quite beautiful here for sure. Yeah, I mean, I love helping people. So if anybody needs any advice or you have questions, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you just can't break free, if you're struggling in any way, shape, or form, we have solutions for you. And it doesn't have to be painful, it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think that's where most people get stuck, is thinking that, you know, transformation is expensive. Cancer is expensive. Transformation is a fraction of the cost of what you're already spending. So that's really what I want to leave everybody with, is thinking about divesting from the money you're already spending. And if you're not getting where you want to get to from the money you're already spending, then divest and invest into your health. Take a deeper look into the programs that Sarah's talking about and really see what's possible, because it's incredibly transformational. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, 60-day money back guarantee, how can you go wrong? You can only go right. You know what I mean? So it's really a pleasure to be here with you, Sarah, and I look forward to doing this again, and we can dive deeper anytime. And looking forward to bringing you out here to Kauai to come and play with us, and that'll be sooner than later, right?
Yes, I am believing in that. All right, Raven, take care. Have a great day. Everyone else who's watching on the live, I hope you have drawn some good, useful information from this. I hope there's a couple little gold nuggets there that will carry with you throughout the day. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop a comment or send me a personal message. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Bye.